record. Okay.
Yeah, can you see me and hear me?
Yeah, I can now.
I like the blockbuster
Yeah,
background.
I worked there in high school.
Were you at the one on Claiborne?
Napoleon. No, not Napoleon. Chuck Toulis.
Oh, okay. So I'm all
Blockbuster
here for your
Music.
interview. Oh, okay.
Yeah, we were cooler than the video store,
Yeah. I mean, obviously.
of course. So I've got a couple of questions for you.
Mhm. Shoot away.
First, what brought you to teaching?
Hurricane Katrina. I was a touring opera singer with many opera productions, NOLA Opera, and then Phantom of the Opera, Miss Saigon. And then I was in LA whenever Katrina hit with my boyfriend who was with the Morris Volta and whatnot. And I flew down like 2 days after the storm to help my parents rebuild. They lived right on the water on the North Shore.
Uh,
And I was the only one that could afford to come back down. And then what brought me to teaching, long story short, it's a very long story, was my mother's church was looking for a choir director. And
uh,
it was for first and second grade. And I fell in love with teaching music. And then I just kind of branched out and extended my teaching career just very gradually whenever the schools were reopening. Like my first public school teaching experience was out in the East. So it was right,
yeah,
8 months after Katrina. So you would go into Little Woods, and the exit was Little Woods, and then you had whenever Six Flags was right there, you know. So
yeah.
obviously the storm killed Six Flags, but that was my exit. And I would teach at Sarah T. Reed, and it was the most hellish experience of my life. Like, you would have kids that were living in trailers with no parents, nothing, and
Yeah.
they would still make it to school, but they were. It was surreal. Like, they were lining up textbooks in the garbage cans and throwing them out the third-story windows. Like, it was actually a nightmare. And I would come home from teaching, and my husband, we weren't even married yet. Richard and I weren't even married. And he
And
would be like, "Why
this
are
is
you doing this to your?"
this
That's how
is
I
how
came to teach
far after
was,
Katrina?
I want to say
Like the
less than
year
a
after?
year. Yeah, it was when the
Okay.
schools opened back up. So I was the first class of
Yeah.
Teach NOLA. So that's how I
Okay.
decided to do it. So I know I've already overloaded you with information, but it was all just, it kind of just fell into place, Keith. Like, it just,
Yeah.
I'd always been a music and theater teacher, and then it just seemed like we were all floundering after Katrina, born and raised in New
Yeah.
Orleans, and like you're
Yeah.
trying to find your footing and whatnot. And that's kind of how I found my footing and like a purpose. Like, yes, I can sing, I can do this, but this is even better. This is going to give back. So that's how I
Yeah.
fell into teaching, and I've been in it since then. It's been pretty amazing.
So what was your major focus in college?
So my major focus when I started teaching, as in what subject I was teaching, or so they started
No,
me
your
on the
degree
West Wing.
program.
Got
Oh, great.
an opera at LSU, and I just finished my master's in moderate to severe disability education and behavior, just like a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
So, you
Oh,
froze
wow.
me. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah. Am
So I
I?
just now.
Am I back? Is that me or you? Hello?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you, but I can't see you. I can hear you, but I can't
Are
see
you
you.
there?
I'm here.
All right. Hold on. I don't know what it's doing now. I can see you again. Can you see?
Okay, but your camera's off.
Hold on. Because it's not registering as off on my computer.
Uh,
Hold on. Maybe if I, can you see me now?
no, I can't. I can hear you.
Should I try and recall you? Because I see,
Okay.
okay.
Yes?
Awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
Okay. So how many schools have you taught at?
Okay, so my first one was Sarah T. Reed. That's one. I'm not including my music experience. I'm just saying as a public school teacher. So Sarah T. Reed, Eisenhower. Then I went to Willie Smith out in Violet, Louisiana. So that's three. That was outreach through the Louisiana Children's Museum. And then I went to Success Prep Academy for 3 years. And that was when I started my special education training. And then I went to SciTech for 2 years. That's uptown by Trashy Diva and whatnot. And then I was offered the position at Schaumburg, which is also a Renew School, 7 years ago to create an autism classroom. So I've been there for 7 years. So I
What?
guess that's 5 schools. I
Okay.
Reed, Eisenhower, then Willie Smith, then Success, six. So we're at 6.
What brought you to autism education?
I was asked to do it. I was already like a push and pull out teacher for special ed. And
Yeah.
my principal at Success, who's one of my best friends, his name is Neil Gangapadahe. He started Success Prep. He pulled me aside and he asked me, Jess, I think this is the right fit for you. I know your heart is in it and that you love these kids. And would you
Yeah.
really like to do special education because there are a few students that need you? And I said yes. And so that's how I got into special education. I've never looked back. Like it's been my whole life. It's
What,
wonderful.
what's the age range of these students?
Okay, so currently I teach the 5th through 8th grade
Uh,
autism skills development program, which I designed for the school. So it
Wonderful.
has its own room and program. So I get kids like when they're 10 and a half, and then they can stay with me till they're 16. So then they go on to whatever high school I pick out for them, like what program is best, what specialized program is best. Carver has a really good one right now. And so I send my kids
So your
there.
program, your program is similar to like a Montessori.
Yes. It's completely designed by me and my staff. I have
Yeah.
3 paras. I don't call them paras though because they teach and I call them co-teachers. Um, it's just everything kind of fell into place.
Yeah.
It's pretty much just a wonderful, wonderful thing. And I just love them so much. And like I get to watch these kids grow up. I'm sorry, I just
That's
talked too
wonderful.
much about kids.
Oh, not at all. Not at all. This is wonderful. So you're on Algiers?
I'm actually off Chef Mentor Highway now. Like, so if you go
Oh,
over the high rise, you have that
gotcha.
first exit off the high rise to Chef Mentor Highway. You go down that about 3 miles, and then you'll
Yeah.
hit like the Firestone and whatnot off Chef Highway. I know I'm totally directing traffic right now. And there's a
So
little
out in the
street,
east. You're out in the
yeah,
east.
way out in the east.
Okay.
Not before you get
Gotcha.
to Dong Quang though. Before that.
Okay.
So you take that little
That's where
side
that's
street,
where we usually stop.
right? So it's a few miles before Dong Quang.
Nice.
That's not gives you any relevance. We were the school that was hit with that tornado like 3 or 4 years ago.
Oh shoot.
That's us, yeah.
Yeah.
Schaumburg.
Yeah. So what characteristics do you think make a good teacher?
The first thing that comes to my mind is empathy and compassion. Like you have to think about like what these kids are dealing with before they even come to you in the morning. Like, did they eat? Did they have a blanket to sleep on? Are their clothes clean? Like, because if we look at
Yeah.
the pyramid, like you have to take in, I could talk about this all day, but I will not keep you on this all day. The taxonomy of like shelter, food, safety before you even teach a child, like, why are you going to ask a kid to do anything if they haven't slept all night, if they didn't have a meal? Like, you have to have those basic needs, and you have to be compassionate and empathetic about what their situation is before you teach them. I was raised a
Yeah.
very highly middle class. Like, I had everything given to me. I mean, I still started working at 16, but I had a very sheltered life. Like, nothing like what the kids I teach do, but like that compassion and empathy and like just the listening is so
Yeah.
important. That's the main thing. Like the first thing I do in my classroom every day is I said good morning, and I sign it all because I have some deaf students, and I'm like, how are you? And like you just have to actively listening is like the biggest part of teaching. And I feel like so many people
Yeah.
just don't get that. Like, and they want
Yeah.
to come to the worst conclusions about their kids. Like if a kid's having a bad day, they're like, oh well, they're just a bad kid or something. But like
Gotcha.
just to pull
So
that
I'm
child
apparently on a time limit with Zoom.
yeah.
So quick
Am I talking
questions,
too
couple
much?
short answers. No, like it's they want me to pay to have a longer meeting for some reason.
I think what I can do is Facebook video chat you. Would that work, or do you need
Well,
to
they
record on
should
Zoom?
well, I mean, I'm recording it, but just quick things.
Oh, go ahead.
What's the most challenging
The
aspect of being a
challenging, the
teacher?
most. Um. So, do you want me to phrase that in virtual learning, like during COVID, or in general? Because it's two different.
In general, because this is unprecedented.
Okay. So, I teach kids with really, really high needs, and several of them,
Yeah.
going into it, how much growth you're going to get out of it. Like the challenging part is like knowing you can only push this kid so far when you want to have the best outcome for them, right? And like as a
Yeah.
special ed teacher, it's really being honest with yourself with the reality of the situation of like after they
Yeah.
leave you, what happens. And I keep my kids for 6 or 7 years, so I watch them grow up. And then the challenging part is like, have I prepared them enough for when they leave me? Like that skill could be
Yeah.
learning to tie their shoes or go to the bathroom, like, or to say their own
Yeah.
name. Like, but the challenging part is really for me is letting them go.
Yeah, I can imagine. So aside from letting them go, what's the most rewarding aspect of being a teacher?
Wow, for them saying their first words when
As
they're 11
as
years
as
old.
much of a synopsis as you can make it.
Um, Seeing them take ownership of their own learning, like seeking out their learning and wanting to learn. Like whenever they all came back in the building and they were like, where's my
Yeah.
homework? And like just seeing them become their own little independent people and seeing them
Yeah.
want to work and write their names and doing things independently. Like I don't have to stand by them or hold their hand to do things. And just like, this is mine. I am owning my own person. I am learning, and it's fantastic. Like I go home every day happy because they're happy and they're their own little people now.
Wonderful.
So,
So I think this is like among the last questions. What advice would you give to a teacher who is just starting out?
listen, listen, sit down and learn them. Learn each child as their own person, and it will be the most amazing thing you've ever done. And that's really how I feel about it. Like, they're just my greatest joy in my life is watching these kids grow up. And just sit there and take the time and let them talk to you. And whenever you take them off the bus in the morning, tell them how happy you are to see them. And ask about their weekend. I'm sorry.
Me too. Me too.
But like they're these amazing little people. And I just inherited this one kid from the lower classroom. And he said to me, Miss R, I don't like your classroom. I love your classroom and I love being here. And I just saw my sister die. But I wanted to come to school because I knew you were there. Like that's the things we're dealing with. Like it's such a huge thing. I never
Yeah.
ever expected to be a teacher. But it has been my life. And the only thing on my fridge right now are the pictures of my kids. And like just watching them grow up and graduate and realize I've taught some of my
And
kids.
you're teaching in person right now.
now?
You're teaching in person right now.
Yes, I am for 2.5
I mean,
weeks.
there's no option for virtual learning.
There is. So I have
But it's
one
ineffective.
kid. So they were given the option to be virtual for this semester
Yeah.
or to be in person. And I had 3 that originally chose to be virtual. And 2 out of the 3, the parents called me like, we're sending our kid back to school. And my classroom has its own wing. Like there's
Yeah.
no other, the safety and the sanitary precautions, we go over that every day. And like
Yeah.
the kids love it because it's a sense of routine. And they enjoy the process and knowing they're safe and being back in school. Like the first day they were asking me for homework because I'm their sense of normalcy.
Yeah.
And like they just, it's been everything to me to have them back.
I can imagine.
I didn't mean to make you cry.
No, I was gonna do it sometime today. Might as well be good.
Is there anything else I can give you, like resources, observations, videos? I have some teaching videos or.
Oh, I've got enough stuff to watch. Yeah, I don't really think I have anything else to ask.
I'm sorry I'm so emotional about my kids.
No, I understand. But I just have to.
Would you
I
like
have
to
to
see a
write
picture
next.
of them real quick?
Please.
All right. One second. Here they are. And they're all in
Fantastic.
black and gold.
Of
And you'll
course.
see 2 of my staff members. But they're perfect. They're
Wonderful.
absolutely my heart. Well, this has been really enjoyable for me. I love talking about my babies.
Thank you.
So I'm really excited for you in your teaching journey. And anything I can do to help you, please let me know. You know, I
Thank
live
you.
in Bayou St. John. And
Yeah.
so if you have any
You got
other
a kayak?
questions, what now?
You got a kayak?
We do. I think I messaged Amy about it.
So do we.
So what day is your day?
Generally Sunday.
Okay, Richard is generally off on